As a beginner wholesaler, I always wondered, why are people so focused on off-market deals when there's so many potential deals right online? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about the difference between on-market and off-market deals. I'm going to talk about why off-market deals are so much more valuable than on-market deals in most cases. I'm also going to talk about how to skip trace those off-market potential leads and how skip tracing could be free or could cost. And I'll tell you what kind of services has brought me success in skip tracing so that you can look into those options in your wholesaling business to bring you success. So beginners, stay tuned. Even if you're not a beginner, still stay tuned to the end, toward the end of the video, and I'll let you know how I found off-market deals and skip trace those deals to be a successful beginner wholesaler. So let's go ahead and get to the video. Hey guys, it's Byron. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to the channel, I'm a beginner wholesaler that tries to help other beginner wholesalers out by telling them the things that work for me. And hopefully I can bring value to you if you're a beginner, or maybe you're even somebody who's really trying to stay more consistent or whatever with your wholesaling. So what we're going to talk about today is finding off-market deals and skip tracing. A lot of you hit me up, ask me about different deals and stuff, and sometimes they're, maybe on Zillow or maybe on Craigslist or something like that. Well, those are not considered off-market deals. Yes, you can do those deals, but a lot of times those deals come with even more hassle and they're even harder to do than the actual off-market deals. So as a beginner, I encourage you, I've tried on-market. I was in the same boat trying to do free on-market deals. And it was just very difficult, very hard. And I just found it easier to go ahead and just stick with off-market deals. And I found success doing that. So that's what I'm going to speak to today. I'm going to talk about how I did those off-market deals, or how I found those off-market deals. So what is an off-market deal? Off-market deal is something that's not on Zillow, that's not on Craigslist, that's not anywhere on the internet where somebody can just type in an address and go find it. So those are off-market deals. Which means they're not on the internet. And the reason you want to do this is, as a wholesaler, you're kind of acting as a go-between or a middleman between the seller and the buyer. Well, if the seller has put it online through a realtor or even online for sale by owner or by himself on Craigslist or Facebook, then the buyer could easily type in that address or go look themselves and find it. So there would be no need to involve you in the transaction. So that's why off-market deals are better, because with an off-market deal, me as the wholesaler, I have contact directly to the seller, and the buyer does not have contact to the seller, and they have no way to get in contact with that seller unless they go through a similar process as me or try to go and find the seller. And usually by the time, if I'm already in an agreement or already got the seller under contract, it's too late for that buyer to try to reach out to that seller, right? So that's when you become valuable. That's why they would buy a contract from you, an assignment contract, or that's why they would be willing to sign a contract with you to do a double closing with you. And if you want to check out a video about double closing assignments, I did a video about double closing versus assignments. Just check out my channel or click the link. I'll try to put it above. So that's why we would try to get off-market deals. Well, how do you find off-market deals? Well, here's where the skip tracing come in, right? So if you see a property, let's say you drive from Dallas and you see a property and you want to look up the owner, you can go on the public records of your county, or you can go search a couple of different places on the internet like PropStream or ListSource and look up that property and see who the owner is. However, in those public records, they typically do not have people's phone numbers and email addresses. Well, skip tracing a property is a process of getting a person's contact information, their email address and their phone numbers. The word skip trace comes from the old saying back when people would leave town and somebody would go and try to trace that person down. The person who leave would be called a skip, and then you would try to chase that person down or trace that person down. And that's where you get skip trace. They're basically tracing the person that skipped. So When you're skip tracing or trying to skip trace, there's free ways of doing it and there's ways you can pay and do it. So I'm going to talk about the free ways first, and then I'll talk about the paid ways, and then I'm going to tell you which one I prefer and why, and what brought me success. So the free ways to do it is through things like True People Search and Fast People Search and BeenVerified.com. All of those are websites that you can go on and try to find people's email address and phone numbers to try to contact them. It even come with possible relatives that you can try to contact to get in contact with the actual property owner. And ask for basic information that you can find on public records. Type it in there, maybe the address and name, and they'll look that person up and through their search, and they'll give you potential phone numbers. Now, it may come with 3, 4, 5, or 10 phone numbers. You can try them all, see if they work, and it has a low percentage chance that this will work. But if you're able to get through, you just got to a lead for free. Well, those are some free ways of skip tracing. Another free way that I found of skip tracing is by going and knocking on a neighbor's door, going and knocking on, people in the neighborhood door to see, hey, do you know the person that lives in this house, or what happened to that person that lives in this house? So if you're driving for dollars and see something that you may be like, that may be a potential deal, that may be a potential property that somebody doesn't want, go knock on that door, knock on the next door neighbor door, and knock on the other neighbor's door to try to figure out if they know. Because a lot of times the neighbors, have seen and looked, and they know kind of what's happening sometimes in other people's lives. I even had one case where I knocked on a neighbor door, and the neighbor didn't know the person, but they knew the person who cut the guy's grass. Well, I got the person who cut the guy's grass number, and I called them up and got in contact with the owner. So that's another way you can go out there and literally chase that person down, or trace that person down yourself. So now we'll go into the paid versions. So the paid versions of skip tracing, and the ones that I'm going to speak about are the ones that I know give you accurate information, and I know work because I've made money off skip tracing using these different sites. So one is skipvault.com. That's the one that Flipman uses through his site called, I think, Dealulator or something like that. But skipvault.com works, and it gives you accurate information. You can find these property owners. And I know that because I've been able to contact property owners through SkipVault and close deals. Another paid version of skip tracing is batch leads. Batch leads is something that I started out using. Also, I use SkipVault, and I was using batch leads to begin with. And batch leads has skip tracing, and I know that it worked. I know other people use it. A lot of people that those big timers, they use batch leads and stuff like that. And the last paid version that I'll tell you about is one I'm currently using right now, and I love it. It's called Lead Sherpa. So Lead Sherpa is a great way to skip trace. It is 15 cents a skip, and I'm pretty sure Batch and SkipVault, they're all around 15 cents a skip. That means per lead, they're going to charge you 15 cents. Good thing about Lead Sherpa is they don't charge you for skipping a person twice. I don't know if Batch Lead does that now or SkipVault, but they weren't doing it with back when I was using those services. But Lead Sherpa doesn't charge you twice for a skip. They have great data. I know it's super accurate because I'm constantly getting in contact with people. So I know Lead Sherpa is super accurate. I love their services. So those are the ones I use, guys. And Lead Sherpa, the beautiful thing about Lead Sherpa and SkipVault is that you don't have to have any kind of subscription to just go on their site and just start skip tracing right now. You just create an account. It's account is free, and then they charge you for the skip trace. I know SkipVault went up one time to like 20 cents a skip. Flipman usually have like some kind of discount with them or whatever, but those are the people I use to skip trace when I want to pay. So what's the difference between free and paid? It's old saying, you get what you pay for. With the free versions, the problem is they're inconsistent, they're unreliable, and they're inaccurate, right? Yeah, you may find a property owner every now and then, but for the most part, you're gonna come across way more inconsistencies, inaccurate phone numbers than you would if you're using some of those paid services. And trust me, I know a lot of you may be low on funds and maybe trying to do things the free way. And trust me, that's where I come from. I'm super cheap. I try to do everything the free way, and it just didn't work. I was spinning my wheels, and I'll find a few people, but it was just too slow. That's another thing. And I think Chris Jefferson said it. Speed. Max Maxwell said it all the time. Speed is the name of the game. And these paid versions, that's what it allows you to do. You're able to take bulk lists and just submit it into those platforms, and they spit back out thousands of people's contact information just like that. And then you're able to go and call those people or text those people. That's the big thing. Speed, 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 speed. So I'm able to contact people at a way faster rate than somebody who's just trying to look these people up on True People Search or Fast People Search or stuff like that. So it's just speed, and then the access to actual data. So these the people like SkipVolt and Lead Sherpa and Batch Leads, they're getting stuff from these different credit unions and people that's over the credit unions and stuff like that. In different places, they're using actual data, accurate information that they're probably paying to get on your behalf, and they're using their resources and they're actually getting stuff from those places, and that's their job. Like, their business is to get data for you. So I would recommend to go ahead and pay for data. If there's one thing you need to pay for, it's the data. Because if you don't get in contact with the property owner, there's going to be no deal, right? So get in contact with the property owner. Go ahead and pay for the skip tracing. Don't cheap out on skip tracing. Chris Jefferson said that all the time. Don't cheap out on skip tracing. Trust me, I go back and forth because I'm super cheap as a regular person. I want to go cheap on skip tracing, and it's like, don't do that. And then when I start paying for skip tracing, bam, 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 I find more deals. And that's the thing, man. I may save $300 a month trying to do it the free way, but I'm not going to make the $20,000, $15,000, $30,000 that I would make if I just paid the $300. So are you willing to pay $300 to skip tracing in order to make $20,000, $30,000 or even $10,000, right? So I say, go ahead and pay for the skip tracing. That's the one thing you need to pay for. Make sure you get it along with PropStream. So the two things I would get, PropStream, and I would skip trace. And then after that, you could use Google Voice to text, or you can use, Google Voice to cold call. But I would recommend you get some kind of way to speed up your texting, like, use batch leads or use, call tools to do your cold calling. But some way to speed the process up. Speed is the name of the game. You got to be able to do it. And it's a numbers game. Like, it's all about numbers. How many people can you skip fast? How many people can you text really fast? How many people can you call really fast? And if you can do that, then bam, deals will start coming your way. So that's what I recommend, guys. That's how you find off-market properties. That's how you go about skip tracing. And that's how I found success in finding off-market properties, skip tracing them, getting in contact with the owners, and being able to get them under contract and get those contracts sold to buyers that's looking to buy properties in the area. So if you're free tonight, guys, today, well, no. So, no. And while we're talking, guys, just want to let you know, leave a comment below and I'll respond to you. If you think there's certain information or certain things you want to know about my journey and what I do from day to day, leave it in the comments below and I'll make videos about, the different things that you're suggesting or asking. And I don't know everything, but I know what's brought me success, right? And if there's things that's bringing you success that you can help me with, leave it below. I don't know everything. I'm willing to learn from you. But I also want you to play a part in the content that I'm pumping out here on my channel. So just feel free to leave comments below. It'd be very helpful in bringing you more valuable content.